Welcome to Streaming Without a Paddle, your weekly What's Streaming review podcast. This week, Andrew and Ted sit down to discuss Netflix's reported $320 million budgeted film, The Electric State, starring Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. Let's not delay and send it into Studio A, where Andrew and Ted have their computer set up and are mining for Netflix money.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.
This week, Ted and I took on the Netflix sci-fi adventure, The Electric State, starring Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown.
There we go. She changed it, I was about to say.
So, well, she went back to her real middle name, Bonnie.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was like her parents were big New Edition fans?
I don't know. I have no clue, but it's out now, so she's Millie Bobby Brown to me. There you go. And I should have given her first billing because she's up first in the movie.
For like 30 minutes.
I mean, yeah.
Like there's a large chunk of this movie that is mostly her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she's doing her thing. There's no question. No question there. All right, this movie was 2 hours and 8 minutes long. Ted, you wanna tell us what it is, or I can go right in?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to,
I can go right into the cast because I can pretty much pronounce everybody's name.
Yeah, they're all pretty famous.
Go ahead.
It's basically about a girl who has a brother who's a genius. Are we getting some weird echo going on, or is it me?
We are. We're getting this. This is what happens when we don't have a Rocky here to take care of stuff for us. But I think that solved it. No, say something.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
I think it's better.
That's a little better.
The Electric State is basically about this girl, Millie Bobby Brown, and her brother, and they're in the 90s in high school, and he is a certified genius, and he takes this test, and they tell him he's smarter than Einstein. Also, there's robots. Robots are a part of society. They decide to have an uprising, and they take over, and the whole thing is this kid is so smart that they figure a way to put people in these suits, and they are like, what are those suits called? Like exoskeleton, like robot suit things.
Yeah.
And they do it with like a
VR headset.
Yeah, VR headset, and then they're out there fighting against the robots, and they beat down the robot uprising. And it's been, how many years is it in the movie? 4?
Something.
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4, because I think it was
Yeah, and so fast forward, she's in a foster home. I don't think she knows where her brother is at the beginning.
No,
right.
She doesn't.
She doesn't know where her brother is at the beginning. And a robot shows up, and it's this cute little robot, and it can't speak, but it says like phrases. Phrases that it was programmed to save, and basically the robot is telling her that it's her brother.
Yeah, she was told they were in a car accident.
That's it.
Yeah, a classic Disney movie kind of thing, but this is not a Disney, this is a Netflix original, and we'll get into that in a minute because, wow, that's a story within itself. But anyway, they get into this car accident, the family does, and everybody dies, but Millie Bobby Brown's character, Michelle, I think is if memory serves me correct. Anyway, and she's told her brother dies, and he didn't really die, but that's because, he's a genius. He, I guess, was telling the doctors what to do to save his life. And so they were like, well, crap, we can't let this guy go.
No, he's super genius.
Yeah, so anyway, like Doogie Howser.
Yeah.
Right, okay, but even smarter.
That's a great show.
So anyway, and then she discovers when this robot, which was, it was interesting because the movie starts out, and it's not really a spoiler. He's off being tested to see how smart he actually is, and that's when he's kind of exposed to the world. And he's wearing a T-shirt that has his favorite cartoon character on it. So he comes back because, he's using his AI intellect to come talk to her, to come get her.
As his favorite
cartoon character. So anyway, there we go. All right, before we get into the nuts and bolts on this, I just got to say this. This movie had a reported budget of $320 million, most expensive project that Netflix has reportedly undertaken ever. Gray Man being the first at $200 million. This is a Russo brother film.
Felt like it.
So, and The Gray Man, I believe, is also a Russo brother film. Now, you probably don't know them by name, the Russo brothers, but they are responsible for, I think, 5, maybe 6 of the MCU universe movies, Avengers and
Endgame, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got there's a whole collection of them. So anyway, now you take those Avenger movies, Disney movies, and this movie, if you threw it into the collectiveness of the MCU movies, which of the 32 that have been produced by Disney, this would have had the second largest budget of all of them, only to be outdone by Avengers Endgame, which had a budget of $356 million, which I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe not. Yeah, the Russo brothers did Endgame. So
Yeah.
there. Well, here you go. The Russo brothers in the MCU universe have done Avengers Endgame, Avengers Secret Wars, which we haven't seen yet. It's due out in 2027. Avengers Doomsday, which comes out in 2026.
Okay.
Captain America, which came out in 2014. Captain America Civil War, which was 2016. I'll come back to it. Avengers Infinity War 2018. And then that's in the MCU universe. No, that's not right, because I think they did even more than that. I think I'm missing one.
I don't understand how they went from Yumi and Dupree to Captain America.
That's what I was going to come back to. There you go. Your favorite Kate Hudson movie, Yumi and Dupree.
I love it.
So my point is I'm getting to is that apparently the Russo brothers know how to extract cash.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I'm not saying they're bad at what they do. They're obviously good at what they do. I mean, look what they've done. And but they get paid apparently really, really, really well for it. A couple of other movies that they've done, which were Netflix movies too, I believe, Extraction and Extraction 2.
Yeah, we watched them.
That, yeah, we did. And Chris Hemsworth. And of course, this has got Chris Pratt in it.
With maybe the worst wig I've ever seen.
I'm just blown away by $320 million to do this movie. I mean, it did not look like a $320 million movie. I'm going to throw that out there. But here's the other thing I read in the trades the other day. I think it was in Variety. Netflix has budgeted. You ready for this?
Hit me.
Netflix has budgeted $18 billion for production in 2025. And the CFO was, I could be wrong, but I think I read it. The CFO said, and we had plenty of backup for overages. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. $18 billion to spend on making or acquiring films for Netflix this next year. That is unbelievable. But then again, if they're going to be spending $320 million for something like this, I think they're just throwing their money away.
So I kind of feel what you're saying. I mean, it definitely felt like it was it felt like a Russo brothers movie. Looking at it, like it did. I really enjoyed this movie. I had a great time with it, but it's like everything I would like 90s memorabilia or 90s nostalgia, and I love Chris Pratt. I love Millie. She's killer. You know who she looks like now that she's like an adult? She looks like...
she's 21.
I know.
But she is technically an adult.
No, but you know who she looks like?
Who?
Elizabeth Perkins. The love interest in Big. Remember her?
Yeah,
She was in Weeds and everything.
Yeah.
She looks like... They look like similar.
I can see that. As a doppelganger, I'm pretty... I scrutinize pretty hard. Well, yeah. Here's the thing about this movie, The Electric State. Again, it's a Russo brothers film, and they're really good at this sci-fi stuff. There's no question, and they got Chris Pratt. This is just this is the problem I had with this movie. One of the problems I had with this movie was the fact that they cast Chris Pratt as this, and I'm going to say it, Star-Lord-esque character.
I mean, he was playing Star-Lord.
I mean, he was. I mean, it was no different.
He has adventured into and I don't want to. I like Chris Pratt a lot. I think. I think he's super charming and funny. He's gotten to a place where he's just playing the same character. All the time. Yeah,
it's he's a comedic actor. With that's his shtick. He plays the happy, loofy, no care in the world, gets real intense from time to time guy.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, that's what he's doing. Anyway, Ted's already jumped out there and said that he really liked this movie, and I didn't really like this movie.
I can tell.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm just going to jump out there and say it. I really didn't like this movie.
What didn't you like about it?
It's not that let me rephrase that. It's not that I didn't like it. It just didn't. It didn't wow me. It did not wow me in the least. It was 2 hours of Guardian of the Galaxy minus, the characters. The characters I really liked. Nebula,
Groot,
but Batista's character there, I forget his character name. I'm not going to say that Star-Lord is my least favorite character. I'm not saying that, but I think that the other part of the team really added a lot to it.
Is Rocket your least favorite character?
No. Who plays the girlfriend?
Zoe Saldana.
Right, and what's the character's name in that? Is it Nebula?
It's her sister's in there too.
Her sister is Nebula, I believe.
She's better character because she's real intense.
Yeah. And so anyway, she, I was kind of partial to her and Batista as characters because they had to play somebody. The others were just. Like you were saying, Chris Pratt plays Chris Pratt. I mean, I'm sure he's just like that in real life.
Hey, I love it when somebody says, "Ted, can you play Ted?" Thank you.
Yeah,
you can just do it. You can phone it in. Yeah,
that's why you're cast.
Yeah,
that's why. Now Tom Hanks isn't cast because he's Tom Hanks per se. Tom Hanks is cast because of his name. He's a brand, but directors and producers know that they can extract from him different characters. That he's got a lot of depth to him in the sense of, he can play a Forrest Gump, and then, he can turn around and play one of his last ones where he's a single man, old man.
Otto.
Otto, and he's got that range. You're hiring Chris Pratt, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You're going to get Chris Pratt. You're just, hey, he walks on the set. What do I look like? Here's your wig. Here's your outfit.
I don't think he minds that at all.
Oh, I bet he doesn't.
I bet he's great.
Yeah. No.
Because you can tell if somebody really wants to win an Oscar or be super high, majorly respected, even when they get big, they detour to make a movie. Like Tom Cruise even did that. Detoured to make Magnolia.
Right.
You go do an indie street cred movie.
Yeah.
Like Brad Pitt's done 3 or 4. I mean, it's DiCaprio did 10. Pratt's not detouring.
Well, he has no reason to. I mean, it's just, let's just be honest. I can't imagine what he took in from this movie.
$20 million, probably.
Oh, well.
And then even though
I'm sorry, the Cameron Diaz 2-picture deal on Netflix totaling $46 million, so $23 million apiece, and then she's been retired for 10 years. I bet Chris Pratt, Netflix, I'm going to put it in this term, Tracy Morgan, who got, he was coming back from, I think, Atlanta City doing a show. He and somebody else in a limo, and they got hit by a Walmart truck. Remember that?
Yeah.
And, of course, he sued, and it made him super rich. And I'm pretty sure it was Tracy Morgan who said, I'm Walmart rich. Right?
Chris Pratt's Walmart rich?
No, Chris Pratt. And actors say it now, I'm sure. I'm Netflix rich. I mean, look at Adam Sandler, and I'm not belittling his work. I mean, he's just like, screw distribution, man.
Well, distribution is the biggest roll of the dice of anything.
I know, but they've taken it out of the game. I mean, he's got a multi-picture deal with Netflix, and I forget what it was. His first deal was like 3 pictures or 5 pictures, $250 million, something like that.
Do you think that, just to go off a little bit on a different tangent, do you think that Happy Gilmore 2 would do well in a movie theater?
Yeah. I do.
I don't think that most executives at this point trust a comedy going to a movie theater. That's why I think Adam Sandler was like, yeah, this makes sense.
In a roundabout way, talking about the electric state. Now, we're going to get to it in a minute. Because we could do a whole show about streaming services and what they're doing. But this one just really took me when I started seeing numbers. $320 million reported production budget on this movie. And then, of course, I was like, well, what in the world did all those other Russo MCU universe movies cost? And turns out that only one of the MCU movies, Endgame, cost more than this Netflix streaming production.
It's a move.
I'm just like, well, and then you turn around, and right before I found out all that, I'm reading the article in Variety where Netflix is laying down $18 billion for productions. That's ridiculous.
This did not look like a normal Netflix project.
I can't justify 320. I mean, from a business standpoint, except for if I get into the mind space of okay, I've got all this subscriber money rolling in every month, and I've got a coffer here that's just overflowing with cash. I don't care what my return is. I don't care anymore about attracting new subscribers by putting out quality projects. I mean, this is all vanity work at this point. I mean, this reminded me when I found out this was $320 million. I did a show with somebody, and it was a low budget show. And it got nasty. It got real nasty towards the end of it because one of the people in the executive level thought that there was a hit on his hands here, and so he made a maneuver to try to steal the show.
Oh.
To acquire the rights. Now, this individual didn't have a pot to piss in financially. Okay, I was a showrunner on it. I saw the budget numbers. I made the budget numbers on it, but I was privy to all the deals and all that, like any showrunner EP is, right? And then it came time to start cutting checks, and this is why I say really didn't have a pot to piss in, was because it became aware to me that the production company, the other producing partner in this, fronted this individual basically a float, so that they could come and do the show, right? Now, we set it up so that, and again, this is super low budget. I mean, there was no money from a production company standpoint to be made. This was something that was being made to get product out there, to bring in a paycheck. But it was a credit. It was a producing credit is what it was for pretty much everybody that was involved, right?
Okay.
I mean, okay, we're not going to get rich off of it. We're all going to break even, so to speak. But besides taking an EP fee, he took a director's fee.
What?
On the show. Now, I was just like, okay. Now, I lowered my EP rate to do this project, and he was basically double dipping. But anyway, I and that didn't sit well with me, but it wasn't, all right, okay, let's just move forward. We've got a lot of things to go. But like I said, as the show wore on and we were getting results back from editing, and we were all happy with the show, and the network was happy with the show, and so the light bulb went on in his head that, oh, this is going to be big, and it a commitment from the network, and I'm just going to bump everybody out of it, and I'm going to keep it for myself.
It's mind-blowing how much people will do that in our business.
Yeah, it was really gross is what it was. And he and again, this is a sidebar, but he tried to get me involved with because I didn't have any ownership in the series. Okay. I helped package the series. I show ran the series. I sold the show to the network. I made the pitch to network.
You have to tell me what this is off.
And yeah, I will. And so, and it's like a spec job for me. All right. It came to me. But anyway, that's another story. But this is what it kind of feels like to me that Netflix is becoming, is because they've got so much money that, it's like going back to the Tracy Morgan Walmart rich. These actors are walking away from him going, I'm Netflix rich.
I would like to be Netflix rich.
I mean, that's some serious rich, because apparently Netflix has just got a crap load of money. All right, Ted, let's get into this. We've bored everybody out not talking about this movie, which I don't really think there's a lot to talk about, because it's Guardians of the Galaxy on Earth, or Guardians of the Galaxy meets Twisted Metal.
That is a good mashup. That's good.
Yeah. You got Star-Lord acting in Anthony Mackie's place, another MCU guy, right? In Twisted Metal.
I think that if you like those sort of things, you will be like me and be entertained. But I do hear what you're saying. I would be curious to hear what the budget on Fallout Season 1 was, because I know it wasn't $300 million, and somehow Fallout looked a little bit more real.
Yeah,
robots and all sorts of crap everywhere. It still looked more real.
I might be tainted because I found out the numbers, budget numbers, reported budget numbers of this movie before I watched it. And I'm just like going, this is what $320 million gets you. Wow. That was really a disappointment. I mean, so, all right, real quick. The performances, they were good. I mean, nobody did a bad job. It was classic Chris Pratt in Star-Lord role, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
she was great.
He nailed it. Yeah. Millie Bobby, Bonnie Brown.
And it's good to see her not just play 11.
Right. Well, did you not think that was very funny, though, that the young man who was cast as her brother, Woody Norman Christopher, Woody Norman, who played Christopher, he really kind of reminded me of I'm pulling it up. Wolfhard.
Finn
Wolfhard. Yeah, he was kind of a cross between Finn Wolfhard and Gatton Matza. I can't even go there. Anyway, Dustin and Mike.
Yeah.
For all you Stranger Things fans. And I enjoyed Stranger Things. All right. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the acting in this. So, I was very, very happy with that. Overall, it wasn't a horrible movie. I'm not saying that.
I watched it twice.
Stanley Tucci's in it. Ki Hung Kwan. Did I get that right?
Kwan from Goonies.
From Goonies, from Raiders.
Everything All at Once.
And actually, Anthony Mackie does a VO in here.
He does.
Yeah, I mean, here's the funny thing. He's actually the sidekick as a VO to Chris Pratt's character in it. And I can't ever say his name, but Gus from Breaking Bad's in this. He does a good job.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah.
He's in everything now.
Yeah, he's in everything. So Woody Harrelson, he's in this VO-wise.
I forgot Holly Hunt was in this.
Oh, did you? Yeah, Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter, sorry.
Yeah, no. I have a Holly Hunter story. You ready?
The cigarette story.
Oh, you already told you. Okay, there we go.
You told me on air.
Yeah, all right. There we go.
It's a pretty good story.
Holly Hunter wanted my cigarettes. You can go back and former or previous episodes and check out that story. But anyway, there was nothing. I think this movie is geared for kids, not kids, but for younger audience, just like Marvel, MCU. I'm putting an age range on this from about 9 up to 17 will be the sweet spot of enjoyment. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not dissing on anybody that gets into that, but I think if you're a male between the ages of 9 and 17, this is gonna make you just so happy,
Yeah, I agree.
And there's nothing bad in it, so I think somebody 9 to 17 could watch this.
Man, I mean, everybody for the first 28 actors in this movie are names. Mm-hmm. And then there's some random parts.
There was a phone call to these folks from the Russo brothers. Hey, I got Netflix money. Can you come be a part of this? I mean, seriously. I mean, they got serious name people to do VOs in this movie. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, Ted, let's get some numbers on this.
Me first?
Well, I don't care. That's up to you.
I think if you like Marvel movies and things of that nature, I think I want to say 81.
Okay, I'm a 7.3. 7.4, excuse me. That's what I came up with before. And having said that, I gave Picture This a 7.6. I'm going to bump that down to a 7.4 because I don't think this is a 7.6, and I don't think this is any. I don't think Picture This is any better than this movie. So I'm going to give them the same score, but I'm bringing my Picture This rating down to this one. To match, because I mean that it's the same level for me. I'm sorry, I know people are going to go, oh, you're crazy, but here's where I'm at. All right, IMDb gave this a 60. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave this movie a 15.
15?
The audience score on this was a 7.3. So, and I already put my number down before I looked those things up. There was no bearing. There's never any bearing. It's like Dave Pontenoy standing outside a pizza joint with the owner there.
What's his name?
Dave Pontenoy. Portnoy.
You were so close.
So close. So, well, we are so close. I just call him Dave.
Yeah, just Dave.
Dave.
Stool Presidente.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, or just like Dave, no influence on those scores there. And there you go. All right, Ted. It was nice to watch.
I'm a watch
too. Watch it. I mean, 7.4. That's not a bad score. I mean, that's, they're kids that get a 74 on a report card. Man, they go home screaming, waving the damn thing, going, look what I got, So there you
I think I was that kid.
And you know what? Those are the kids that are going to absolutely freaking love this movie.
Yeah, I would have. I got a 74 in geometry. I'm pumped.
I'm not ripping. I'm playing. Okay, there is a difference.
Man, I guess no sequel.
What do you mean? The sequel is going to be $600 million.
Nah, there'll be no sequel in this bad boy.
Oh no, I'm kidding. I don't. Yeah, I don't think so either. So anyway, all right. Yeah, again, the movie's called The Electric State. It just dropped Friday night, this last Friday, on Netflix. 2 hours, 8 minutes. And I will say this: it's not a snoozer. It keeps you going the whole dang time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no lag. There's no, So there you go. Watch it.
Watch it.
But don't be MCU excited. I mean, it's just like going into it, you'll be let down. Just think of it as Twisted Metal in movie form.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, guys, everybody, remember, we appreciate it if you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and notice we're getting some tick up on that, and we really, really appreciate it. Haven't checked on, or can't check on the subscribers to the podcast because people subscribed on different platforms, and, we're on Spotify. That's our home base, so if you're going to do it there, and then do it on whatever you're listening to, because it really matters on Spotify to us. All right, but having said that, thank you for tuning in. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.